little bold, and extremely fun. Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. Here's Craig.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunrise Show, 7 minutes after the hour. Glad you're with us this morning. You've made it to KCMX News Talk 880 Sunrise with Craig and Craig Froelich in this morning. And thrilled to welcome into the studio Vern Loy. And he's the commissioner for the Rogue Valley Basketball Officials Association. And you can go to rvboa.com. And you know what? That's our interface locally, ladies and gentlemen, between the OSAA and all of the games, soccer, of course, baseball, but basketball is what we're talking about today. And, with all the games that are played, Rogue Valley, YMCA, all the leagues, you've got to have that group. And that's the group behind the scenes is the Rogue Valley Basketball Officials Association. And Vern, thanks so much for coming in this morning. You've got a big event coming up.
We do. We have a great event coming up Friday, June 13th at Centennial Golf Club.
Well, here's the next thing, this is the second year, and you did something last year by having this tournament that's called the Summer Swing Golf Tournament at Centennial Golf Club. This is the second year, so if anyone's just hearing about it, they missed it last year, don't feel too bad because it's only the second annual. But here's something else. You raised $16,000 that came out of nowhere. I mean, this is $16,000 that the group raised, and it all went back into everything needed for teams and kids to play basketball.
That's correct. There were 15 middle schools that received funds out of that $16,000 that we raised the first year. And that money went initially to offset pay-to-play fees for basketball scholarships around the districts in the Rogue Valley. But if they could not, or if they did not, need it for basketball scholarships, they could use that funding for any scholarship for any sport at middle school level. If they didn't need that, then they could go to whatever funding they needed, whether it be transportation, uniforms, coaching, supervision, or whatever. So a real broad spectrum of helping middle schools.
Yeah, so the athletic director, would this be, or who would be the interface at the middle schools that would be in charge of that money?
The ADs.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So the athletic directors at the different schools, they would be in charge of that, and they could use that. And that probably, having that in the kitty, is probably a fantastic thing for them.
Well, as a retired educator, I'll tell you an extra $1,000 or whatever really helps in emergencies so much.
Well, exactly, just because they can use it, and the kids that want to play, that just, they're kind of boots on the ground, and this works out for scholarships and kids that maybe can kind of make it, or if there's a sliding scale, and the parents and a whole thing of being too proud and not. That's a tough problem, tough thing to have, especially what's going on. I mean, what's the number in our schools as far as the number of kids and families that qualify for assisted meals program? It's pretty high. Is it 50%? I'm not going to say. I don't know, but I think it's incredibly high. I just saw it and I can't remember, but I can't quote it. But it was. It wasn't. It was higher than 25%. It was higher than 1 out of 4. Well, interesting though. This is cool because what's happened, ladies and gentlemen, is that because you came off of this last year and your Centennial Golf Club, this summer swing tournament, was so successful, you got picked up at the State Sports Association of the Year last year. You were given an award by OSAA, signaling you out for the work that you had done, and this is just one of the items, along with everything else. So out of the 110 state associations of the 7 sanctioned sports, you got picked Sports Association of the Year.
Yeah,
That's
it was
pretty fantastic.
Quite an honor, and in large part is because we have made that extra effort to get involved with the community and help the community. Sports officials are quite often seen as an adversarial entity, and we need to make sure that the community understands that we're all in this for one thing, and all of us together, and that's for kids.
Well, and I mean, my kids went up through Y-ball, you know, and there they were. The officials were just there. I don't think people understand that how that works. I mean, they might, if they pay attention, if they might be a coaching staff or something like that, they might want to be a parent that volunteers. But if they don't, the officials just show up. They're just there. I mean, no one knows. I mean, well, I shouldn't say no one, but I mean, you do the work behind the scenes that folks don't understand. I mean, we're talking with Vern Loy. He's the commissioner for Rogue Valley Basketball Officials Association. You can go to their website, rvboa.com, in case if you wanted to volunteer, right? Or maybe get into the program, right, Vern?
Well, you kind of volunteer, but to get involved with the RVBOA, it's a bigger thing than just volunteering and being there or whatever, because you have to follow state standards. You have to have background checks. You have to pass the NFHS National Rules Test. There are lots of things that you must do to be sanctioned by the OSAA and the RVBOA. You go through a complete set of training for 1, 2, or possibly 3 years. To be a basketball official is a tough assignment, and to be a sports official, it's a tough assignment. And so the only way you can really understand what that's like is to be one, and we need more of those all the time.
Well, and so, I mean, there is a slight. I mean, there is pay for the games, so that the officials are compensated. But you're absolutely right. I mean, they have to be certified, and then, of course, be certified once again by the RVBOA. I've seen them, and you know what, Vern, I'll tell you what, the officials that I've seen, they've done a pretty good job. You know, I mean, and basketball is moving along at a pretty big clip. And watching the high school sports, you know, and the middle school sports, they're moving right along. That is real time to make those decisions, and you don't get a second chance.
No.
You can't get called off like on football a little bit, where you can kind of come over and it's pretty wild. So a lot of respect for you and your crew that way. A lot of things going on. So between the event coming up, and this is the next thing, is you said last year you had 19 teams, but this year you've capped out at 32 teams. We can't even offer anyone who's listening right now a chance to get out and play.
Oh, yes, we can. We do.
Well, I mean, how would we do that?
Well, right now, like I said before, unless someone drops out, which we don't expect anybody to do, but if someone drops out, anyone who wants to enter, we put them on a waiting list, and then we go from there. We only want one squad. We want to run it well. We want it to run efficiently and whatever. So 32 is what our goal was. 32 in the second year is amazing.
Wow.
We have 61 sponsors around the Rogue Valley that believe in what we're doing. And so we appreciate everything everyone's done, including our golf tournament committee. Amazing group of people.
Yeah, this is great. We've got Vern Loy, and Vern, your phone number, we gave that out, right?
Yes.
The 941-4045 number.
Right.
If anyone has a question or comment about the Rogue Valley Basketball Officials Association, it's rvboa.com, and we're talking to Vern Loy. He's the commissioner for that group, and you're right, Vern. I mean, they've done a good job, but to see the support, I mean, 61 sponsors, and this is the cool thing, is the $16,000 last year was raised. It'll be interesting to see what you raise this year, but every cent goes toward the kids.
That is correct.
I mean, every cent of it goes. There isn't a administration fee. There isn't any group from the golf, committee, like you said, and Centennial. They're all there, so they're leaning in and donating the course for the day. Then.
Yeah. I don't even get to golf, Craig. This is wrong.
Well, you're working the event. I know.
Yes.
When we had David Wright in from the Rogue run. You know, he and his friends were setting it up, and he's a runner, and he doesn't get to run.
Right.
So, you know, he has to run at a separate time because he's running the event, and you wonder how long that'll go before he gets to tip his hat and get in the ring, run a little bit. But same with you, I know. And, of course, you just have to put that off. Maybe you'll golf the day after or something.
It could happen.
Exactly right. Well, we've got a quick little break. Let's do that and come right back. We've got Vern Loy on the phone here in the studio with us, and I'm pretty excited because I want to talk about this pay-to-play thing.
You bet.
With what that came out and what that means for more students, and if we've got more kids. And I want to talk about that, too. I want to talk about the kids. I want to talk about teams. And if the schools have got all the gear that they need. These schools have been operating on a shoestring for a long time. And I just wonder if they've kind of got everything they need. So we'll come right back. Quick little break. Stay tuned. More on the Sunrise Show. We return. And like I said, that website, rvboa.com, Rogue Valley Basketball Officials Association. Okay, coming right back.
Well, I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind. 4 that want to own me, 2 that want to snow me.
Stay tuned. Sunrise will return in a moment on KCMX News Talk 880. A little bold and extremely fun, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. Here's Craig.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 22 minutes after the hour. We've got Vern Loy in the studio with us this morning. He's the commissioner for the Rogue Valley Basketball Officials Association. And Vern, you've been doing this for a long time, and it's great that you're doing it. And the community really does owe you a thank you for all that you've done. I mean, really pushing this through and keeping the guys and gals put together. And look what you've done. I mean, this is really excellent. I mean, the second year of this golf tournament out at Centennial, and what a great thing to do for the kids. You know, we want to talk about this pay-to-play thing, that article that just came out, and I didn't get to get all the way through it. They're talking about raising that, removing that so that there wouldn't be a pay-to-play, and then the districts would take it. But that's not totally done, signed, sealed, and delivered, right?
No, the Budget Committee has evidently taken a suggestion to vote to eliminate the pay-to-play fees for athletics in 549C. Then you'll notice there was an article or an editorial in the Tribune about, well, let's make this fair. If you're going to eliminate the pay-to-play fees for athletics, let's don't forget drama. Let's don't forget debate, because evidently they also require funds. And then you look at Dennis Murphy, athletic director of South Medford High School. He made a comment that I totally agree with, that he was surprised that they were wanting to eliminate or looking at eliminating all fees when we've struggled in the past. We quite often have short-term memories. It wasn't all that many years ago when I was involved with coaching and education as well. It wasn't all that long ago that the Medford District was even contemplating removing all middle school athletics completely, not just a pay-to-play. So a pay-to-play kept everything on board.
Right, I remember that. They were going to nix it, and the only way it could keep going is if people paid to play. And I remember that there was kind of a consensus that the parents said, yes, we will pay it. We would rather pay than not have the athletics.
Correct, and also this is not just 549C. 3 years ago, when the RVBOA thought about putting on this fundraiser tournament, Eagle Point middle schools had no inter-school athletics. They had intramurals alone. We were still going to provide them funding because our goal is to keep kids supervised and safe. We didn't care whether it was inter-school athletics or intramural or whatever. We just wanted to make sure that they had an opportunity to have something to do extracurricular after school to keep them supervised and safe. Then Central Point District, not too long ago, went to an all club sport program at middle school because they could not fund it. So our Rogue Valley districts have a history of funding problem issues, and if in fact they do have a certain amount of money, that they have a buffer, that they have a reserve, then I agree with Coach Murphy that if you lowered the cost of pay to play, because those fees and those charges that schools go through, they're not going down, they're going up every year.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So it would be interesting to amortize that 200 or 220,000 that seems to be in reserve that they would need to keep athletics out of the pay-to-play situation, amortize that over drama, over debate, over athletics, drop that pay-to-play fee down to $25 a kid or something.
Something manageable, yeah.
Something manageable, but still, it's a requirement that the families need to know that there are costs that people just really don't understand.
Right.
And we need to fund that somehow. And don't forget those funding issues that we have struggled with over the last few years. We can't forget that. We have to keep that in mind. We've never set a goal of eliminating pay-to-play fees. We've set a goal to offset the cost for people.
And that's
So-
actually, hasn't the pay-to-play fee kind of offset things from the beginning anyway? Because it was $50 per person, I mean, round numbers, 50, and then it's kind of gone up to closer to 100, and some, depending on tournament play and things like that. But for the most part, basic in, I think I saw it was some of the varsity sports, $150. But for some of the other teams, 75 or something along those lines. That fee never really paid the entire cost of everything across the board, right?
No, I'm sure it didn't.
I'm sure
I
it
really
didn't,
don't know the facts on that, but I'm sure it didn't, knowing how much it costs for uniforms, transportation, equipment, coaching.
the facilities,
Yeah,
and even
custodial care,
the
all
officials,
of that.
everything,
lighting, heating.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I knew that was the case. It wasn't. I mean, if, like you said, talk about short-term memory. If we had to subsidize the entire amount, yeah, it'd be pretty shocking. So, well, this is awesome. Vern, it's just great. I tell you, we're talking to Vern Loy. If you're just joining us, he's the commissioner for Rogue Valley Basketball Officials Association, and their second annual Summer Swing Golf Tournament is going on at Centennial Golf Club June 13th, next a week from this coming Friday, and it's sold out. 32 teams. There is a waiting list, right? So they could call you, I guess, at your phone number, 541-941-4045. But what you're doing to raise money for these middle schools, this is just outstanding. I mean, every last dime goes out to all the middle schools, and I bet the athletic directors for all 15 schools are pretty excited about that.
Well, I hope so. I would be.
Well, yeah, just to have an extra funding source. I mean, let's face it, it's been a long time coming. I mean, they've been doing a lot with a little for a long time, and it's nice to spread the wealth out a little bit. So, well, Vern, well, this is great. Look forward to hearing. Of course, I know it's going to be fantastic, and I know the officials have a great time. And once again, we couldn't do it without the officials. So without you folks, I mean, it goes right down to Y ball and middle school, and you don't get into the high schools much, right? I mean, you handle them as well, but the funding is handled a little bit better for them?
Oh, yeah. The reason why we targeted middle schools is primarily because middle schools don't have fundraisers. There are a few of them that have them, and they tie into their high schools, especially private schools.
Right.
But most middle schools don't have that extra income coming in from any direction. So we wanted to help with that. Most of the high schools have some kind of fundraiser. Crater, St. Mary's, Cascade, South, North, they all work hard to raise funds.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. Well, Vern, thank you so much for coming in this morning, and look forward to. You're going to be excited. Of course, you've worked all year, culminated, and then you kind of calm before the storm, right? Got to be shocking that your teams went from 19 teams last year to 32 teams this year. That's fantastic.
Yeah, evidently there's lots of folks that buy into our objectives, and that's great.
Well, good deal, Vern. Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
It's great to have you and everything you guys are doing. If anyone out there knows an official, hug your official. Hug them.
Especially the basketball one.
That's right. Give them a hug. Tell them how much you are thankful that they're there, because without them, the game simply wouldn't go. And I know you what, Vern, the gymnasiums fill up, and we've got a great tradition with the high schools, and the pipeline of talent starts at the middle schools, right?
It starts even earlier than that, but we'll keep it going.
Anyway, all right, Vern, thanks again. We'll be right back. More on the Sunrise Show after the break.
Stay tuned. Sunrise will return in a moment on KCMX News Talk 880.